School, regular high school, definitely doesn't prepare you for healthcare. I think the most that high school helped prepare me with would be writing because you learn to write in English. But other than that, I'm going to be honest, besides your English and math and the few cool things you learn in science and stuff, there's a lot of stuff that school doesn't really prepare you for, even something as simple as finances. There's a lot that you have to learn on your own if you're not in a household where parents are already teaching you stuff like this outside of school. There's a lot you have to learn outside of school.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, babies in their diapers, welcome to the Tiberius Show with your host, Tiberius Boy.
That's me, Tiberius.
And welcome to the Tiberius Show today. And I'm your host, Tiberius Boy. And as always, we're looking at various jobs and how they affect the world around us. Today's guest is someone who takes care of people by day and writes powerful stories by night. Do you know what a certified nursing assistant is? Well, because I think we're about to find out. So you know what? Please welcome the one, the only, the amazing Shawniece Hall.
Hello. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Well, first off, I want to thank you for being on the show as well, okay?
Yes,
All right,
thank you
so
for having me.
Shawniece, you're a certified nursing assistant. So for kids listening who have never heard of that, what exactly does a CNA do?
So what we do is we take care of the elderly, and that can range from helping them get dressed in the morning, eating food, even craft activities, going out to appointments, going out to family events. So we just help them with what we call ADLs, activities of daily living.
All right, so you eat their food?
No, we help them because some people they can't lift their hands to their mouth or they can't cut. So like some people you have to really help them eat their food. Even to take a drink, you might have to help them do that.
All right. So what does a normal shift look like for you?
A normal shift
Yeah.
is fast pace. You're going from one room to the next. You barely have time for a break. And I'm just being honest because I know a lot of people look to CNA because it is good pay, but your heart really has to be in it because this is a tough job. It is a hustle and bustle, and you barely have time to take a breath in an
Yeah.
8 hour shift.
All right, so is the job more physically demanding or like emotionally demanding?
It is both because you physically have to move people, lift, you know, they have wheelchairs, stuff like that. So definitely physical, but also mental and emotional because you're dealing with the fact that you're running around to 60,000 rooms dealing with all these people at once. And some people have pleasant personalities, some people don't. And you have to know how to deal in each and every situation while feeling like you might be a little stressed in the moment.
All right. So like what made you choose healthcare as a career, not like something else?
Uh, to be honest, growing up, I am the eldest child, and growing up the way I did, I was kind of put in a parental role before I was even a parent. So I was already taking care of people before I ever really knew what that was. And then when I got older, I just felt like it was something that I would be natural at, and I am a natural at it.
Well, did you like always know that you wanted to work with patients or not really?
No, see, being an author was the thing that I said when I was 12 years old. Like, I remember where I was when I said it. The author was what I always wanted to be. Nursing, being a CNA, that was something that when I graduated high school and I wasn't sure of my direction, I just knew that would be something that I would be able to do effortlessly.
All right. So what's something that people totally misunderstand about CNAs?
They think that we don't work as hard as the nurses, but they don't realize that we I'm not taking away from no nurses because nurses have a hard job too, but their job is at a different level than ours, and we're the one on like the ground floor doing all that hard work, and keeping the floor as peaceful or as calm as it is.
Yeah. Well, what's the hardest part about your job?
The hardest part about the job is losing patients that you've grown very attached to, because you don't think you're going to grow attached to them, but when you've been in a building with someone for 7 years, 8 years, and you've seen their face every day and they've seen yours, and you're probably like the only face they saw out of 8 years, you become attached to some of the people there. And when they go, it is like losing someone that was a family to you, or a friend, or something like that.
Yeah. So what's the most rewarding part?
The most rewarding part is knowing that you can help them, knowing that you've made their day better, like when they're having a bad day or they're lonely because like they're missing their family, knowing that you could have put a smile on their face. Just the little things, sometimes like bringing them gifts on their birthdays, like just the little things.
All right. Well, have you ever had a patient who really affected you emotionally, and what did you do?
I did have one patient, I'm going to say his last name. His name was Mr. Carter. He was a resident at my facility, and one day I came in and all his stuff was gone, and I couldn't believe it. Like I literally stood on the corner crying because I just couldn't even believe it.
Yeah. So how important is patience in your line of work?
Very. And you know what's crazy? Because I'm going to say that I'm a person who still needs to learn patience. But at my job, they get the most patience out of me because number one, I understand that I'm in a professional setting. And number two, I'm also realizing that like I'm dealing with elderly people. And even though they seem like because they're older they should act a certain way, we also have to realize that these people are reverting. They almost, and I'm not being disrespectful, but in a way they're almost like reverting back to baby stage, you know? So you really got to be careful with them even when they're being mean to you and rude and everything else.
Well, my dad says that if he wanted patience, he would have just gone to medical school.
You have to have patience for this. Yes.
So, what skills does a teen need if they want to grow up and become a certified nursing assistant?
To be honest, I think it's, I would say just number one, caring and compassionate, because you have to be caring and compassionate to do this job.
Well, we
Everything
always know
else
that
is,
nurses, have schooling and like certifications and stuff, but does a certified nurse assistant need schooling and certification?
yes, you have to complete a program. And once you complete a program, you have to pass their clinicals. You have to pass your clinicals, you got to pass your exams, and then you get a state license. And then even after that, so when you first get your license, every year you got to renew it. And then after like, I think 2 years, you start to renew it every 2 years. But you have to be in a facility and you have to have certain amount of training per year, like in services per year, to keep that license.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Well, how do you like stay so calm in like stressful situations? Or are you just never calm?
No, sometimes you just have to really walk away. Or like me, like yes, they're elderly patients, but also we're both humans. So like when you're being disrespectful to me, you know you're being disrespectful. So I'll just be like, hey, I'm not here for that. I'm here to help you. If you don't want help, I can go get someone else. I can go get the nurse. But you know that's not the type of interaction we're gonna have. So you can also calmly diffuse a situation as well. It's, I feel like a lot of the times it's also about your tone as well, because some people could be very mean and rude, but when you approach them with a certain type of tone, it changes their attitude. So if you
Yeah.
meet them with anger, it's going to be more anger, but sometimes, not always, but sometimes you can change the tone, and the way you meet them will make them change their tone.
Well, has working in healthcare changed how you treat people outside of work?
I would say it changes the way I look at the elderly and the way I treat them, because I work with a lot of elderly people. So I would say that if I see an elderly person on the street, I'm always like looking to make sure they're okay, looking to make sure they don't need no help. If I see someone, like one time I was downtown Newport and this guy actually fell in front of us, and I just like jumped right into action as if you would have thought I was in the nursing home, but I was just out on the street, and it was like my instincts just kicked in.
Yeah. Well, why do you think jobs like this are so important in the world?
Because you're taking care of people, and not everybody has family members who want to take care of them and who want to, I don't mean to use this word, but who want to carry the load of this burden of taking care of somebody else. And there's different levels to this because some people are what we call limited assist, where they don't really need that much help. Some people are extensive, where they really need a lot of help. Some people are totals, where you got to use machines with them. Some people have dementia, where they're kind of losing their mind. So there's different levels, and not everyone can handle it, and not everybody wants to do it.
That makes sense. So what advice would you give to a teen who might want to go into nursing or like healthcare someday?
I would say give it a try, because if you feel like it's something that you'll be good at, if you feel like it's something that you like, you never know unless you try. You never know unless you get in there. And you have the option to decide whether you really want it or not. Like there's a point where you are hands-on experience, so you get to decide if this is really for you or not.
Now, this seems like a good time to take a quick commercial break. Let's hear a word from our sponsors.
So you want to make an ad for your company, right?
Yeah, Tiberius, you want to help me?
Okay, so what's the name of the company?
PPWND.
PP what?
Professional Pressure Washing and Detailing.
So you like clean driveways?
Yeah, like that. We pressure wash commercial buildings and semi-truck and trailers.
So how would someone get a hold of you?
They can visit my site at ppwnd.com or call me at 407-900-7793.
So I just tell them to call you at 407-900-7793 or visit ppwnd.com?
Yeah, Tiberius, you got it.
Cut. That's a wrap. Just use that.
Oak Ridge Gun Range is a family-oriented shooting range that has been in business for over 30 years. They specialize in basic firearm training and offer numerous services such as consignments, gun trades, gunsmithing, and concealed weapon classes. I even got my training for gun safety at Oak Ridge Gun Range. Great customer service, and firearm safety is what they do best. So find out more at oakridgegunrange.com.
And we're back here talking with Shawniece Hall, certified nursing assistant. And wait, you're also a romance novel author. Oh wait. So what exactly is a romance novel?
So, a romance novel is, to me, a novel about a love story where you get to watch a love story unfold. Most romance novels that I've read, it's usually about a budding romance, and we are watching it unfold through the pages. Now, I'm not going to say that I'm just a romance writer, because I'm not. I love to write fiction, and that's what my first book, Flames, was. It was fiction. But yes, it is a romance novel because we follow Aaliyah and Liam, and we see how their love story unfolds.
Well, what is it all about? Tell us.
So, Flames is a book about my main character, Aaliyah, and she grew up without her mother and her father. She grew up with her grandmother. So, her grandmother tolerated her, and many people can relate to that because some of us grew up without one or two of our parents. And that taught her early on that love was not for her. Now, Liam, on the other hand, Liam, he didn't grow up like that. He grew up with love. And Liam is a go-getter. That's exactly why he's in the position he's in, to be a music producer. So when their paths cross, Aaliyah doesn't want to take the chance, and Liam's like, I'm taking this chance. So we see how their love unfolds, but as their love starts to unfold and she starts to feel like, you know what, maybe I can let my walls down. When life does that thing where we feel like everything's right, we on the honeymoon phase, but then life starts to hit them and something from Liam's past comes back to get them. So now they have to see, can they make it through the lies, the deceit, the betrayal, and everything that's coming their way, or will it all go up in flames before we can see if this love will really work?
Okay. So was there a moment where you said, I have to tell this story?
Yes, because I could not stop writing it.
So did you start writing like when you were a kid?
Actually, yes. So when I was younger, what I would do is, like, for me, when I read, it's like a movie playing in my head. So it's not like I'm reading a book. As I'm reading each word and going through each page, it's like a movie is playing in my head. So when I was younger, I would always be like, that's what I want to do. I want to be able to give that same feeling to people and do the same thing. So I don't know, like stories would come to me and it'd be like a movie. And then I'd start writing in my notebook. I'd get halfway through the notebook and then be like, I don't know what's going on. I don't remember what was happening in chapter 3. And then I'd give up. But now that I'm older, I've created a system to write a book. And now I can get through each and every manuscript and have no problem.
Well, wait. Are you like type filling like notebooks with stories?
I do have a lot of composition notebooks with stories, and whenever I want to write a book, sometimes I'll go to my composition notebook, but I'm gonna be honest, I'm always coming up with new stories all the
Mm.
time. So
So, what does the title Flames mean to you personally?
flames is that ignition, that fire, and to be honest, I didn't even come up with flames when I first started writing the book. I did not figure out my title until I got to chapter 10. So
Wow. All right. So, you studied psychology. How does that help you
mhm.
build strong characters?
Because psychology, to me, when I took it, it's a study of people, why they do what they do, why they are the way they are, how environmental, how our home, how all these outside forces and our inside forces shape who we are, the choices we make, who we become. So for me, psychology gives you a deeper level at looking at people, and not just looking at people at surface level, but then asking the question of why.
Hmm. Well, are your characters like inspired by like real life or like totally made up? Like, am I gonna be in a future story or something?
So a lot of my characters are made up. When I some of the names I use, I like to use like some of my nephew's names or like
Mm.
my niece's name, because I'm like one day they can read that and they can be like, wow, that character has my name because it's inspired by me. Not that the character is my niece or my nephew, but I like to use their names. So most characters are not really inspired by anyone, it's just who they become in this story. But some of the names I like to use is like my niece or my nephews, not over and over, but they've been featured in some of this Flames and then my future manuscripts that I have written.
Well, have you ever had like writer's block and like thought, uh-oh, what did I get myself into?
So I just went on another podcast and I said I did not have writer's block, but then when I explained something to her, she's like, well, that's kind of writer's block. So I guess I'm gonna say I've kind of had it, but for me, I feel like I've never really had a deep writer's block where I couldn't get past something. But there's times where I'm like, how do I connect this piece to the next piece? Because I know I need to get from here to here, but what scene is going to help me tie the two? So sometimes
Mm.
I have to step away because I don't ever want to force it. I love everything to come organically. I have to step away, go do something. Maybe I'll go do some chores around the house, take my kids to do something. And while I'm in the midst of doing something, something will just come to me and I'll be like, all right, oh my God, that's how we're going to do it. That's how we're going to click it. So I either got to hurry up and get to my phone, my notes section, and write it down so I don't forget it. Or if I'm at home, I will rush right to my computer and get going.
Well, how do you handle like criticism or like negative reviews?
I'm the type of person that I believe all criticism, all reviews is constructive criticism. Don't mind me. But I believe that it's all good because even the bad stuff helps you become better. You can't always just ask someone to give you all the good stuff, then you'll never know where you really need to improve at.
So, has being like a CNA ever inspired your storytelling at all?
Um I wouldn't say it inspired my storytelling yet because I haven't done like any book yet where it's kind of like CNA or like that type of setting, but at least I know if I want to do any medical scenes or anything like that, I have real true inspiration to draw from.
All right. Well, I know that old people have like lots of love stories and stuff like that. So I figured you might get a
Yes,
kick out of
they
that.
do. They do.
Well, why is empathy important in both healthcare and writing?
Because empathy allows you to connect with people. It allows you to feel what they feel and to really genuinely put yourself in their shoes to the point that you even muster up the emotions that they might be feeling in that moment. So empathy is very important
Well, why would a kid listening today want to grow up and become an author?
because the same way you feel when you watch your favorite TV shows and someone that came from someone's imagination and people get to enjoy that, writing is like a different form of an art and people get to enjoy your art. So if you would love for someone to enjoy your work and get to get a taste of your imagination, writing would be the thing for you.
Well, on that note, let's take another quick break to pay some bills.
The Tiberius Show would like to thank one of their dedicated sponsors, Custom Designs Orlando. These guys are on Mills Avenue and do all sorts of stuff, ranging from photo ID badges, engraved signs, custom braille ADA signs, vinyl lettering to trophies and awards. The cool part about Custom Designs is they can ship products all over the United States. You can reach them at 407-898-0373 and tell them that
Tiberius!
sent you.
Over 40 years, Lighthouse Central Florida has provided education, independent life skills, and job training to thousands of Central Floridians who live with blindness or any degree of vision loss. Whether it's picking out clothes in the morning or just moving around your community and serving Orange, Seminole, and Osceola counties, contact Lighthouse Central Florida at 407-898-2483 or visit them online at lighthousecfl.org.
And we're back here talking, with Shawniece Hall. She's a caregiver by day and a storyteller by night. So, what have you learned about yourself, between balancing two careers?
That I have to put as much work into my personal pursuits as I do someone else's business, because it's just as important. And if you're gonna dedicate 8 hours to someone else, learn to dedicate time to yourself.
Well, if you could change one thing to make your schedule easier, what would it be?
Work less hours and get more money.
Well, that's two things. So did school prepare you more for healthcare or for writing? And did life teach you more?
So regular high school definitely doesn't prepare you for healthcare. I think the most that high school helped prepare me with would be writing, because you learn to write in English. But other than that, I'm going to be honest, besides your English and math and the few cool things you learn in science and stuff, there's a lot of stuff that school doesn't really prepare you for, even something as simple as finances. There's a lot that you have to learn on your own if you're not in a household where parents are already teaching you stuff like this outside of school. There's a lot you have to learn outside of school.
Well, what skill do you think young people should start building right now?
Your ability to want to learn and always want to learn new things, because the more knowledge you have underneath you, you're versatile in many things. And don't ever think you have to stay in one thing, because we're always forever changing.
All right. Well, you know what? If you could go back and talk to your 15-year-old Shawniece, what would you tell her?
To keep going. Let everything happen as it's going to happen, because it's going to lead you right where you need to be.
All right. Well, what does success mean to you today?
Success to me is how many times you set a goal and you kill it, because success is different for everyone, and it's not always measured in dollar signs. Sometimes it's measured in your achievements. It's measured in how many times you overcame, how many times you got back up when you was knocked down.
All right. Well, what do you do for fun when you're not working or writing?
I do a lot of things. Sometimes I just relax, because I do work a lot. So sometimes relaxing is fun. Watching movies with my son, taking them out to do activities. We just went mini golfing the other day. So just little things.
All right. Well, do you play any video games? And if so, what's your favorite one?
So I don't necessarily have time to play video games with all the stuff that I'm doing, but I will play some video games, because I do come from an era of video games. And if I was to play some video games, I'll play some Pac-Man. I love me some Grand Theft Auto. Old school, if you know Sniper Filter, the little shooting game, that was one of my games. And I am big on race car games. I like race car games.
Ooh, like Formula One race car games, or more like
Any race car games, really. I just like race car games.
Forza?
Say that again?
Forza Horizon?
Oh, see, is that a new one?
No, it's been out. I mean, there's multiple versions, but it's been out for a while.
Oh, see, I don't
If you
think
like
I've
race
ever
car
played that.
games, you must know.
Well, I haven't played all race car games, okay? Just some.
Well, it's one of the more famous ones. Maybe. But you know what? What's your favorite book to read that you yourself didn't write?
One of my favorite books that I've read recently, because my reading has changed, but one of the favorite books I've read recently is Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That's a really great book.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, it's a book that teaches you about like finances, liabilities, assets, but also we're listening to this guy tell his story because he had one his real dad was a school teacher and they lived a regular life where they struggled and everything, but he had a friend who had a rich dad. His dad had businesses and stuff like that. So in his life growing up, he was learning from his poor dad, but also learning from what he called his rich dad. And it teaches you a lot of things, but it's a really great read.
Yeah, it sounds a lot like something that a person I interviewed, this dark humor guy who writes children's books. It sounds like a title for him. I think that would be a pretty good one. But you know what? What was the biggest mistake that you've ever made, and how did it change you as a person?
Oh, we all made more than a few mistakes in life. But one of my biggest mistakes, I think one of my biggest mistakes I ever made is not really believing in myself and listening to other people. And that was just when I was younger, not now that I'm older. But I feel like that was one of the mistakes in my life because it makes you doubt yourself and it will keep you from doing some of the things that you want to do.
Okay. Now, can you tell me that one story? Remember, this is a kid's show. But that one story, well, that you're not supposed to tell me about. Come on, you can tell me.
The one story I'm not supposed to tell you about? But what is this story supposed to be about?
You can't tell me. Well, I mean, you can't. You're not supposed to tell me. But you can tell me.
I'm not supposed to tell you.
Something like embarrassing, like roller skating and falling on the floor and peeing yourself. That works.
Okay, so I'll give you something embarrassing. So when I was younger, my mom's friend, she had one of those vans back in the day. You know the vans that had the little tables in the back and you had like that one long seat in the back.
Mm-hmm.
So one day we was in the car playing around and I'm like moving little buttons here and there and an ice cream truck pulls up behind us. And I don't know what I did, but I'm sitting in the car and I'm moving little buttons. Next thing you know, I shift the gear and the car starts rolling back and it literally hits the ice cream truck and the ice cream truck's like doop, 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 but then it doesn't fall over. Yeah, I almost lost my life that day when I got in the house.
Why were you pushing buttons?
Because I was a kid and I was curious.
In the front seat?
Curious. Yes, in the front seat.
Not even I would do something like that. And I sit in the front seat.
Yeah,
you don't mess with the Prindle. You don't mess with it.
Yep. So
the Prindle, you don't mess with it. The gear shifter, the Prindle, you don't mess with it.
Oh my god. But
Well,
yeah,
you know what? Do you have a website or like social media where people can follow you?
I do. I have a website. My website is www.shawniecewrites with a Z, WRITEZ.com. On Facebook, you can follow me at Shawniece Hall. You can follow my Instagram at Shawniece Writes. You can follow my TikTok at Nisi101.
I don't even got that.
You should have a TikTok.
Nope, I don't.
You don't? Oh
Show
my
doesn't
God,
have
it's
one.
great.
I don't have one. My dad has one. You can go follow him.
Oh my God. You should really get one, especially with your show. You'd get so many other I'm sure you get enough viewers as it is, but you never know how many more you could get.
You have an Instagram.
Okay.
I
Well, something's
got
better than
Instagram.
nothing.
But you know what? What is that one question that you think I forgot to ask you?
I think that you asked a lot of really great questions, to be honest. You asked a lot of great questions for my CNA work and you asked a lot of great questions for my writing work. So I'm going to give you that because you asked a lot of great questions.
All right. Well, thank you, Shawniece, for, being my special guest. Can you stick around for Math Corners?
Yes.
Aw, Dad, my computer's slow again and I can't play my games.
Call Your Computer Solutions today, and we will scan for viruses and clean that computer up remotely and make it fast again. Our phone number is 407-826-0810.
Thanks, Dad. My computer's fast again. Now I can do my homework. Thanks for calling Your Computer Solutions at 407-826-0810.
Tiberius' favorite subject, it's Math Corners!
And now it's time for Math Corners. Thank you so much, Shawniece, for helping me with Math Corners today. And this week, we're some more multi-step word problems. My dad is always good at finding new problems for me to solve. And today, we're going to talk about something that might happen in a healthcare setting. So you might know a lot about this one. All right? All right.
Pen is ready.
So a certified nursing assistant is working an 8-hour shift. During that shift, she checks on 16 patients. She needs to visit each patient the same number of times. If she makes 64 total patient visits during her shift, how many times did she visit each patient?
Okay, so we have 8 hours in a shift, 16 patients.
No calculators. I see you looking down.
Because I got pen and paper here. Pen and paper.
Okay.
I'm visual.
I was going to say, no
So we
calculators, no
have
calculators.
64 total bits. So we need to divide because we're trying to figure out how she's dividing her time within this 8-hour shift and how many times she visits 16. So our total is 64. And divide that by her total of patients, which was 16.
I mean, I kind of did it in my head already, but...
And she did 4.
She did 4
saw
what?
them 4 times in an 8-hour shift. She saw
Visited
each patient
every patient 4 times. Okay,
times in
okay.
an 8-hour
We'll,
shift.
we'll do the math, completely out here for, the listeners talking. Well, you know what? This is a real-world problem because in healthcare, time management is very, very, very important. Patients need equal attention and care. So first, you have to figure out how many total visits there were. That's 64. Then you divide that by the number of patients, which is 16. So 64 divided by 16, well, we know 16 times 4 is, 64. So, it equals 4. So that means that each patient was visited 4 times during the shift. See? You got it right. It wasn't too bad, was it? You kind of, wipe that off, wipe that. Yeah, wipe that sweat off your face. Yeah, there you go. But that does not sound realistic, does it? I mean, you kind of have to visit them multiple times a day.
That is highly not realistic. And
What,
it's
is it
sad
like
to
8 or
say, but
9?
it's
No, like
true.
10 times a day, or like 12?
No, not even. In a shift, you might see someone 2 times, maybe 3 throughout the shift, and that's if they didn't ring without them ringing their bell. And now if
Well, that's
somebody's ringing
super
the bell more
realistic
than that,
then.
if somebody is ringing the bell more than that, you might see them. And I'm saying that you might see them a few more times because some people you're dropping them their breakfast and their lunch, and that's just dropping it. You're not sitting in there doing 60,000 things. You're just
okay.
dropping it and leaving. So I might see them just because of that. And then
Okay.
outside of that, I'm gonna see them if I'm doing their care that day or if they ring their bell and I happen to answer it. But most of the time, you're shooting around to many different rooms doing many different things.
All right. Well, my teachers always say that I'll use math every single day. How do you use math in your work?
Well, when it comes to being an author, math is important when you're thinking about quantity, profits, when you're thinking about money. So math is important when it comes to the business aspect of being a writer. And when it comes to being a CNA, numbers will be important when it comes to your time management. How many patients I have, how long I'm here throughout the day, how long is it going to take me to do all this? So numbers is important even in that.
Well, you know what? Thank you so much, Shawniece, for your help with Math Corners.
You're welcome.
And now it's time for the Heart of a Lion. As you know, we talk about the qualities of living by the heart of a lion, which stands for leadership, integrity, obedience, and ability. Well, you know what? This week, we're going to talk about integrity. For me, I think integrity is doing what is right, even when no one else is looking. The qualities of integrity is honesty, sincerity, truthfulness, and fairness. So, this week, I saw something at the gym with my mom. We were working out, and my mom had just finished some weights and a bench. Well, you know what? It wasn't super messy or anything, but technically, nobody was really paying attention. There were people talking, music playing, and everyone kind of off in their own world. But before we moved on to the next machine, she stopped and wiped down the bench completely. She re-racked every single weight exactly where it belonged, and even the small ones. Even though no one should have known. I mean, no one would have known if she didn't. So I asked her, why are you taking the time to do that? No one's even waiting. She goes, because it's the right thing to do. You know what? That's integrity. Nobody was checking. Nobody was grading her. There was no reward. But she still chose to leave it better than she found it. It reminded me that integrity isn't always about the big moments. It's about the small choices. Returning the shopping cart, putting equipment back, telling the truth even if you might get in trouble. Integrity is what you do when there's no applause. So Shawniece, do you have an example of integrity that you saw this week?
Well, I pretty much see integrity every day because every day in the nursing home, there are aides doing stuff when no one's looking, whether it's soothing your grandmother or your grandfather because they're having a bad day, whether it's buying someone a gift because it's their birthday and no other family member was going to do it. Whatever it is, even if it's, you know, I don't know, bringing them a cupcake. I don't know. There's always little things that aides and nurses are doing that no one knows about, no one has heard about. We're doing it because we know it's going to make the patient happy.
Alright, alright. Well, we should always try to be lion strong in everything we do, shouldn't we?
Yes, we should.
And that's our show, folks. I want to thank the one, the only, the amazing Shawniece Hall for being on my show. It has been so much fun talking with you today. I think we learned a lot about your work as a certified nursing assistant and a romance author.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And thank you for all your wonderful questions.
Do you mind giving your social media website again?
Yes, my social media is Shawniece Hall on Facebook. On Instagram, it's Shawniece Writes. On TikTok, it's Nisi101. And then my actual website is Shawniece Writes with a Z, WRITEZ.
All right. Well, also, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Tiberius Show. And I would like to thank WWPR 1490 AM, Canton 98, Soul Radio 24/7, Easy Way TV, and all the other stations that air my show. And please be sure to visit Tiberius Show on YouTube and hit that subscribe button. So, Shawniece, are you subscribed yet?
I am going to be.
Ooh, okay. Well, this week, Stan Forrest says, love the air cannon. And real life says, I want to see him shoot off some money. That was a great show. I really loved that. But yeah, real life, it was a great show to learn all about pyrotechnics. And I really hope that I can actually get him back on again. But you know what? Be sure to leave a comment on my videos, and I might even mention yours at the end of the show. And also, be sure to see us next on the Tiberius Show with your host, Tiberius!